Empire State, the beautiful new map that was added for this weekend's Battlefield 6 open beta. I wanted to give my opinions on the new map now that I've gotten to play it quite a bit, as I'm sure a lot of you also have, because if you're playing in a playlist, God, was I getting this map a lot. Not that I'm complaining, I've been having a ton of fun on it, but I just want to give my general impressions of the Empire State map as a whole, the different game modes that it's available on. And of course, I wanted to start a discussion with all of you. Do you enjoy the map? Do you not enjoy the map? What are the pain points of it for you? What's your preferred game mode on it? Leave all that in the comment section down below. So far, I've gotten to play Rush, Breakthrough, and Conquest on the Empire State map. I didn't really play any other close quarter game modes. I do think there's a playlist for that exclusively right now in the open beta, but I didn't really opt for that. I tried to play it on Breakthrough, Rush, Conquest, just varying between the different game modes. The map, it looks absolutely gorgeous. The destruction on this is just next level. There are so many things that you can just level completely, and I've been getting a ton of environmental kills by bringing down a whole building on top of a squad of guys, and it's always a blast and pretty hilarious to see all those kills pop up after you've just leveled an entire corner of a building. It's also one of the maps that has, at least the ones that we played so far, the most verticality, so you will have to pay attention to where you're moving, pay attention to windows that are above you, because chances are there might be somebody up there. Now, the map itself, as I'm sure you're aware, is infantry only, so for the ones that really like to play infantry, this might be the map for you. I enjoy infantry maps every now and then, but I also like a nice balance of playing like a smaller map like Empire State than something a little bit bigger like Liberation Peak. But you know, in order to test the map, I'm glad that I got to play it quite a bit. I mostly got it on Breakthrough when I was playing the closed weapon all-out warfare playlist that is currently available. I think I played it like 2-3 times on Rush. Not a fan because it has open weapons in Rush, and I just prefer closed weapons as a whole. I feel it just adds to the overall cohesion of a squad when everybody's playing a different class and you really have to work as a team, as opposed to, you know, anybody that can just lone wolf, because they can just pick any weapon they want. But that is neither here nor there. In the bigger buildings on this map, the floor can literally just crumble below you, can fall to the lower level, which just adds to the overall chaos of the map. There's a ton of verticality if you're like a movement demon that likes to juke out your enemies and then go back up, come back down, jump behind them, and just generally speaking, there's a lot of movement opportunities to play around with, allowing you to get some pretty nice flanks and really cool plays with all of the different ways that you can move around in the buildings, be it stairs, zip lines, even the bridge that connects the two buildings. There's just a ton of ways to move between POI to POI. And what I really like about the map is it actually looks like it's been absolutely destroyed by war, as opposed to a lot of the pristine urban combat maps that we had in 2042 that look completely untouched by any type of war or combat. The Empire State map is just riddled with debris everywhere. There's fire trucks, there's tanker trucks, buildings are falling apart, some buildings already pre-crumbled, and yeah, it just feels awesome. And especially so if you've ever been there IRL, it's awesome to see it in the game with the bridge and all that. Yeah, the feel of this map is just chef's kiss. Now, I think I definitely enjoyed playing this map more in a linear game mode like Breakthrough, like Rush, because when you're playing Conquest, you have to look out for so many freaking angles every time you're moving from one objective to the other. Now, some of the flags might be an exception to this rule, but for the most part, there's going to be a ton of angles that you have to look out for when you're moving from objective to objective. Then it can sometimes lead to some frustrating deaths because you just couldn't account for all of the different angles that enemies could be sitting in when you were moving through the map. And one thing I really didn't like was how close the uncaps were to the flags in Conquest specifically. So the team that's on the B side, where the B flag is, that uncap is incredibly close to the objectives, and you can literally just spawn in, die if you're that team that has that uncap, or just kill people directly from the uncap that are on the objective. So it felt a little bit too cramped in that regard. I didn't think it was as bad on the opposite side, but yeah, on the B side, I think it was a little bit too close to the capable objectives. Maybe they could expand the uncap zone or something like that and just make people spawn further back. I really don't know what they could do to fix this, but in Conquest, it just didn't feel right to have the uncap so close to like Echo and Bravo. And 64 players honestly felt a little tight on the Empire State map. It is overall, I would imagine, probably one of the smallest maps that we will have when the game releases, and you could definitely feel it. It was really, really chaotic. I think it might play a little bit better if it was like 24v24, albeit I know some players enjoy the chaos and all that. I like to move a little bit more tactically and actually be able to get some flanks. A little bit more difficult in this map due to how small it is and how many players can be found at any given point at any given time. Now, as I was saying earlier, I did enjoy the map more on a linear game mode like Breakthrough or like Rush, that you're simply pushing specific objectives and everybody's focusing on that same objectives. You have a lot less angles to look for because generally speaking, one team is spawning on one side, the other team is spawning on the other side, and everybody's fighting in the middle. So you have a lot less angles to look for because more often than not, you're not going to find people behind you that are shooting you in the back when you're running up to the objective because the objective's in front and your uncap is in the back. You'll get the odd flank here and there where the defender might have the opportunity to flank all the way behind you, and that's really true on the first sector of Breakthrough. When you're attacking, the defenders can actually push back pretty far, so maybe extend the uncap range of the attackers slightly, not a ton, just slightly, so the defenders can't get so close to where you're actually spawning. But overall, some solid games on Breakthrough, albeit the initial push is very, very difficult for the attackers. It's super defender-centric and a lot easier to defend because there's only a singular flag. But then in the second sector, it's two separate flags and you're fighting in the big building, which is just awesome. And then it goes back down to a single flag for the last sector. So overall, the games can last quite a bit of time, even though there's only 3 sectors, depending on how fast the attackers manage to cap the flag or how long the defenders manage to defend that flag from being capped. Now, 24v24 felt, again, a little bit tight. I would maybe put it on 20v20, and I don't really think there's a reason why they wouldn't be able to do this, because the matchmaker always basically matches you in a completely new server or lobby. Rarely will you see the same people pop up over and over again, and it's not a consistent lobby either, so they could really adjust the overall amount of players on a mode per mode basis, which is actually what they're doing. If you play the closed weapon all-out warfare, Conquest still has 32v32 and Breakthrough has 24v24, and I would like to see maybe 20v20 on the Empire State map, maybe even a little bit less. Just test it out. You know, we're in the testing phase here still. We have an open beta. I'm sure they're still running Battlefield laps up until the release of the game on October 10th. But then again, with Portal coming out, these are all things that you'll be able to control with your own servers, and you're going to be able to put 20v20 on Empire State and Breakthrough and basically see if it feels better. But I'd love for them to test it in labs because I do think the overall flow would be a lot better if the player count was slightly lower than it currently is. But yeah, overall, Empire State, I think it's a pretty solid map. I am getting slightly tired of playing smallish maps, but again, it's the beta. The biggest map we have is Liberation Peak, but I'm excited to get my hands on the larger maps like Operation Firestorm and all that stuff and see what those maps feel like in Battlefield 6. But that'll be it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts about the Empire State map in the comment section down below. Which modes did you play on it? Which modes did you enjoy the most? And more importantly, do you think it needs a few tweaks here and there? In any case, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.